fact that he can feel that this team is close. They're just a couple plays away from a signature win, and you guys referenced it. This Rebels team is desperate for a change in momentum.
Yeah,
guys.
he's a fifth-year guy, Molly. This team from Ole Miss has more Division I experience in the SEC than any other team, and Kentucky has a ton of it. Williams and Dia jump, and it's Williams who's been outstanding in the absence of Butler and Carr. Carr is expected to play tonight. Williams right to the hole, hard, and he had it ripped away from him. Take a look at the Ole Miss lineup as Padula goes into the paint and will draw the foul. Boy, you talk about toughness, Jimmy. We just saw it right off the bat.
Yeah, Ole Miss gets that turnover, and within 5 seconds, Padula is at the rim. One of the first things Mark Pope talked to you and I about today was the concern of Ole Miss's speed in transition. It was on display by Padula.
Padula had a massive game against #1 Auburn. They lost by 10 to him. He had 29 points as he knocks down the first free throw. That was a season high for him. He made 10 of 16 field goals in that game. He's another guy, a senior, 6'1", 195, a transfer from Virginia Tech. And it's 2-0. Wildcat lineup, you'll see Robinson, Williams, Owe. Those are the primary ball handlers as he picks up his dribble. They got to get it over in 10, and there's more pressure, and they just get it over.
The last 2 ball games without Lamont Butler, Kentucky more turnovers than assists. That is a major concern against this team in red.
Robinson's been terrific the last 2 games, averaging over 18. His first 3 is way short, and there's a rebound, and they will push again. Murray goes to the corner, and it's the 3 that finds the bottom. Ray Davis knocks it down from straight away, and a really good start in front of the home fans.
That kid does a little bit of everything. One of Chris Beard's best athletes. Ole Miss not afraid to shoot that trail 3.
Williams, jump hook in the lane, so difficult. Amari Williams is having a breakout season at 7 feet. He's averaging nearly a double-double in conference play.
And he needs to have a monster game tonight against an Ole Miss front line that's not real tall. They are physical, but Williams has that length advantage on the inside.
Davis, he had an opportunity. Almanor is about 4 or 5 feet off of him, and he didn't shoot it. Morrell will. Too strong, big rip on the offensive board by Davis. Now he tries to go to work in the paint. Tough fall away, finds the net.
That shows you his athleticism right there, man. To go run down that 50-50 rebound and then get the jump hook right at the logo.
A 7-2 start. Bray extends that right arm, or he's right on him. This is Beard-like defense, tenacious, in your face. Owe hard. Couldn't get it to go. There was some help on the weak side from the big man, and that may have affected the shot. Dia. Murray pulls up. Not a great shot.
So Ravi, Ole Miss starts the game switching 1 through 5. Kentucky's offense is built to handle switching defense. As much motion as they have, players coming together. One mistake, and Kentucky will get good looks.
Williams backs in. He goes to the right hand, and wait a minute. You're going to show the right hand tonight.
How good has he been as the play initiator up top? Kentucky's one of their leading assist guys with over 3 a game, but man, is he a load inside with his back to the basket.
It reminded you of the Thero move against Kentucky when he went with his left hand in that second half. Williams goes opposite hand right. Dia will launch a 3, and that is right on the money.
The versatility this kid can really put stress on your defense. He's a pick and pop 5 guy. A tough cover for Kentucky in this game.
Difficult pass that got through. Owe finds Robinson. Shot clock down to 10. Brea gets by Padula, goes all the way, and it's denied by Dia.
Yeah, Kentucky's really having struggles early, Ravi, with the hot ball pressure of Ole Miss. You got to have guys that can drive it, but here's what I'm talking about with Davis, man. This guy ran down a 50-50 loose ball, and then from the logo, gets that sweet turnaround jump shot. Murray causes that Kentucky defense to collapse, and you find the trail guy up top. Ole Miss out to a really good start on both ends.
They bring in David Barnes. He wears 7, as well as Jamin Brakefield, who's been outstanding. They got 4 on the shot clock on the inbounds. They double Williams, who fires up an air ball. And that will end up being a violation. You know, Mark Pope may have seen enough, just the difficulty in bringing the ball up, so they'll go to the freshman. The point guard, Travis Perry, has got a lot of time. And for the first time now in 2 games, we see Trent Noah come in. He did not get any run against Arkansas.
Yeah, you've got to do something early to change the game if you're Mark Pope, and he goes with his 2 freshmen. Trent Noah and Travis Perry check in. It's a big stage and a big moment for them. This Ole Miss defensive pressure causing a lot of havoc against Kentucky early.
Both those guys that just came in, Kentucky kids, and both superstar high school players. Morrell working hard on the baseline. That's an easy layup. It ended up not being contested. And a terrific start for Ole Miss, shooting over 60%.
Morrell has been so productive for a guy that does not practice. Difficult for him, difficult for this Ole Miss team. They're managing it well.
Williams finds the 3 ball in the corner, and that one finds the bottom. And that's a terrific shooter in Perry, especially uncontested.
Yeah, shot it like he grew up in that barn in Eddyville, Kentucky, where he learned that sweet stroke of his.
Brakefield's a lefty. He hands it off. Davis uses the screen, and that one is off.
Remember, one thing about Ole Miss early, a disciple of Bob Knight is Chris Beard. They utilize a shot fake as well as anybody in this league.
Owe had the advantage as his man was on the floor. Loose ball deflected by Williams, but it ends up in the hands of Morrell. Morrell, one of a handful of guys with over 1,000 points on this team. And how about that shot from the lefty, Brakefield? Boy, they're doing to Kentucky what Kentucky does to everybody else, making 3 balls. Timeout, Wildcats.
Man, Ole Miss comes out firing on the offensive end, but it's their defense that has set the tone in this game. And you give a guy like Brakefield that much room and that much rhythm, kid comes off the bench and makes you pay for it. A lot of pop in those red jerseys to start this game.
He is known for his defensive tenacity, and so far he's also known for his shooting tonight, Molly.
Well, yeah, guys, in that Ole Miss timeout, Chris Beard really emphasized defensive intensity and had an assistant coach holding up a whiteboard with their rebounding numbers. And according to the board, the Rebels are up 5-4 in the rebounding battle, and that's been an emphasis for their team, their intensity in rebounding. He said that is how we can control the pace of this game, especially with offensive rebounds.
No way, the floater, no good, followed it up. It's a loose ball. It's picked up by Padula, and he will try to push it. Andrew Carr's into the game, so is Brandon Garrison for Kentucky, so they go with some size, and Carr had his man seal him off for an easy layup.
You talk about playing offense with force. Ole Miss driving that ball through contact, and that offside cutter, really well done.
They move it all the way around. Everybody touched it. Perry unable to get his shot off. Ole Miss has 6 field goals, 5 assists, and Owe a 3 to settle it down, maybe.
Well, you're going to guard Owe with what they call rondo. Rajon Rondo, Kentucky fans know, great driver, not a great shooter. Ole Miss used that term today in terms of how we're going to guard 0 and white. We're going to rondo Owe.
Good cut by Brakefield. Then he goes to try to draw the foul on Garrison, and Garrison wasn't fighting. Perry, pretty play to Garrison, who is behind the D. Brandon Garrison, you can see, Jimmy, we've done now 4 games in a row. His development is easily identified.
Yeah, no doubt, but he also, man, what a great gut call by Mark Pope to go to Travis Perry early to lead that break. And a finesse pass for Garrison.
Brakefield, a former starter, coming off the bench, scoring double digits in nearly every game he's playing. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Brakefield's going to have to shoot it. Step back 3. Got it!
There's my shot fake. I'm telling you, Ole Miss, and especially Brakefield, they are phenomenal at selling that shot fake and getting rid of that defensive pressure.
4 3-point field goals to start for Ole Miss in this one. Owe. They're figuring out things. Last 2 trips down, layups.
Well, what you have to do is what Kentucky just did. You've got to burn that pressure off that Ole Miss was throwing at you with hard back cuts and finishing your cut at the rim.
They left Dia wide open. He doesn't even leave his feet. It's almost like a set shot. And it went halfway down and out. Garrison has got Padula on him. That's about a 7 to 10 inch height advantage. Owe throws one up, can't get it to go. They never got it to Garrison. Right now, Ole Miss about 1.8 points per possession. That would have helped that number go up, but it's Perry who ends up getting the loose ball. Carr's been dealing with a bad back, and that's a deflection away by Dia on the floor. Carr is rolling around, and who's that going to go out of bounds off of? It looks like it's Ole Miss, so it will stay Kentucky basketball.
And the red jerseys, though, just climbing right up into the white.
Got the TGL in between here on ESPN.
Well, Grant McCaslin's done a tremendous job with that Texas Tech team this year. Look at that Big 12. Houston, right now one of the favorites in the country.
Yes.
To get to the Final Four, if not win the whole thing. After that, sometimes Kansas looks good, sometimes Iowa State. You're just not sure who the next best team is.
College game day going to be at Iowa State as Robinson said. Boy, that didn't work at all. Mark Pope right in front of us. Hand to the head, scratching it.
Yeah, guys, Mark Pope was really trying to calm his team down in that last timeout, saying we're okay right now. We just need to make a dent on the defensive end. They've hit too many threes. So if we get a stop, we can start to take control of the pace of this game, but he's trying to keep his guys calm. You can tell they're a little bit rattled right now.
Spin move in the paint, fade away, over Carr. That's a tough shot, but it's a good one for Dre Davis, having a terrific start to the game.
You know what rattles you? That defensive pressure that Ole Miss is putting on you on every single catch. And they switch 1 through 5 and try to get you standing instead of moving, and it becomes a one-on-one game like Brea is trying to do right now, and it will not work.
Robinson thought about it, and he finds Carr, and he lays it up and in.
That's the action you have to have, Rabbi. Some type of a two-man game. Get that defense hesitant just a little bit on the switch. Roll Carr out of it. Really well done.
Williams just fired Dia down to the ground, and they get 22 in white. Physical play. You also saw Eduardo Klafke, number 8. He's a freshman from Brazil who came into the game. His dad played on the '96 Olympic team. All sorts of skill. Just a freshman.
He was the #1 high school player out of Brazil in 2024. Experience on that under-19 team.
Maury at 5'11", kicks it back to Dia, who thinks about it. Now he penetrates, and what? Went right around Williams, and Robinson was slow.
And a defensive mistake by Kentucky that has bothered them all year long. Just simple action that they don't handle.
Brea wide open, and that usually is money for him. Out of bounds, and it'll stay with Kentucky.
Kentucky comes in 89th in the country defensive efficiency. This is a great example why. And just pretty simple action right there. You got a guy cutting above the ball, and Kentucky gets confused. And just complete breakdown to allow that baseline drive. The weak side defense is hugged up on the far side of the floor. And Mark Pope was clear with us today. We are searching frantically as a staff to fix our defensive issues.
Dia has scored 17 or more in 4 conference games. Pope is aware of Dia. You talked to Chris Beard about him. You say, is this something that you knew, or we just didn't get a chance to see very often when he was at Belmont? He said, oh man, he put up crazy numbers. We knew all about Malik Dia. And he has been outstanding for them.
If you can't drive that pressure off, Kentucky, the team in red is going to continue to climb right up into you.
Brea, nice pass to Carr, and yes, they did get the foul. Really good pass from Brea.
Well, Brea broke that pressure off with a couple of bounces. I'm a big fan of Andrew Carr because of his versatility, Ravi. He can handle that ball up top in their zoom action. He can stick a 3, but he's a very good cutter on the inside. And that's what gets him to the free throw stripe right now.
Yeah, guys, Andrew Carr moving well tonight. He told us he turned a corner with his back spasms that have been limiting his play and practice time over the last month. He said he recently had injections that calmed down the muscle spasms, allowed him to return to practice, which helped him kind of mentally buy into playing with more physicality, saying for so long I was hesitating because I wasn't practicing, but he's cleared the mental and physical hurdles, and now he's feeling more like himself.
Yeah. Well, you talked about, both you guys, about how difficult it is not to practice. Carr missed practice. Morrell, who Molly talked about at the top, misses practices and plays in games. That's a hard thing to do.
And now Kentucky, the first zone action by Kentucky. Mark Pope just trying to find an answer to switch this game, and it doesn't work. Ole Miss knows against the 1-3-1. Throw that ball side to side, get it to the corner, and you will have a wide open look.
And they have been terrific from outside. Morrell knocks that one down. They lob it down low to Williams. He's real deep. He kicks it out. Here's Carr. And he will shoot 2 more free throws.
Kentucky goes 1-3-1 initial zone look. And after the first pass, it shapes up to a 2-3, but that's too many guys on the ball. You got 2 chasing the ball. The breakdown in communication allows that shot by Morrell in the corner. You talk defensively, Ravi, for 3 reasons as a player. Number 1, the coach is on my tail end making me talk. That's not a good reason. Number 2, I just made a shot, so I feel like talking on the defensive end. Not a good reason. The third reason you talk is because you want to win the dadgum game and communicate loud, early, and constant.
That sounds like a good reason.
Well, that's the best reason. Yeah. That's the only reason that allows you to win, and that's where Kentucky's got to take another step. They're kind of a quiet team on the defensive end. We've been with them the last 4 games. We know them well.
78% free throw shooter. Almanor getting set to come in for Carr. And he won't be able to come in yet as he missed both second free throws of his last 2 trips. 27-18, midway through the first half. Ole Miss at home, coming in at 5-4 in conference after winning their first 4. Spin move, and he's going to get fouled, so Carr will come out having picked up the foul, and that will send to the free throw line Jamin Brakefield.
Kentucky goes 1 possession of zone and right back to their man-to-man. And they are, I talked about them early on the inside. Mark Pope's dealing against an Ole Miss squad that is very physical, a rugged bunch of dudes that Chris Beard told us today, starting with a guy like Brakefield, who started every game last year, now comes off the bench. They have checked their egos. It's all about what do I have to give to my team to win, and this Brakefield kid leads the charge.
Yeah, let's flush that out a little bit. The way that Beard was so complimentary about his team's desire to win, and he caught himself. He said, I get it, every team wants to win, but he really said this team is unique in that, and when they win, he'll be happy because he knows how desperately they all want to win given their experience and really the final run.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he said we deserve to win.
Yeah.
And not every coach, if you pin him down, can really say that.
Yes.
But he does believe that about his guys.
Almanor, who's in, has been terrific from the outside. As Owe tries to break down his man, he beats him, but he went instead with the right, not the left.
But the defensive pressure pursuit from behind forced Owe to go with that inside hand on that layup attempt.
Kel Brown James is into the game. He was on the floor. Now he's back up, and that's going to be a look at a 3-point play.
And you saw the frustration of Kentucky. All 5 guys raising their hands up, shaking their head. Another breakdown defensively for this Wildcat squad. And I'm telling you, the game is so hard when you can't guard the ball. And Kentucky right now just can't guard the ball. A little bit of a miscommunication. The defensive pressure doesn't step off. You hit that backside cutter. Ole Miss early, Ravi, getting anything they want.
A lot of cutting right now, and he is the first man in double figures tonight. Brakefield's got 10. We mentioned that it's come off the bench and 14 times scored in double figures. Colin Chandler picks up his dribble.
That's a 10-second
count. And it didn't work, and boy, you can really see the impact that not having Lamont Butler or Kerr Kriisa is having on Kentucky.
No doubt. And Ole Miss can smell it. They can smell it that Kentucky cannot handle this ball pressure. And all that's doing to the student section and this Ole Miss team is dialing that, turning that heat up, and Mark Pope feels it as well. Sometimes you want to take a timeout. Sometimes you have to take a timeout. This is a get-right timeout by Kentucky. Monday to fly to Oxford, Mississippi, and just not ready coming out of the gates.
A lot has been put on the shoulders of the guy we just saw, Williams. He's become sort of a point center, which is unique.
But Ole Miss, they're the real deal. They're inside the top 40, both offensive and defensive efficiency. They are complete on both ends of the floor.
Brakefield drives. Kicks and a floater in the lane. Boy, they're getting easy shots in the paint.
You cannot allow a guy to cut in front of your face. And that's just fundamental basketball that Kentucky continues to make breakdowns.
Williams finds the cutter. Chandler, no, he cannot get the layup. Largest lead, and it could grow, and this place is going to explode if it does, but it's not here. And watch Williams push it. Robinson needed it, and he got it.
And Williams stepped awkwardly coming down the floor. And
he's limping a little bit, yep.
Favoring the ankle or the knee a little bit. On the other end, it's Padula, right?
Yeah, who's down.
It's a big basket by Robinson to just give a little bit of life in that Kentucky offense. Brakefield. Chris Beard brags about this kid. He's the guy that they assign when recruits come to campus. Complete team players, got a complete game, transfer from Duke, trying to get Ole Miss to the NCAA tournament this year.
Buddy coming back. The call of that Duke-Clemson game. It's been a long time coming. I know you talked to him a lot. I've certainly communicated with him a lot. What a moment for him to be able to come back and call some college basketball. Duke and Clemson, that's the game he'll be on with Corey Alexander and Dave O'Brien. Look forward to that.
You know what? It's also a heck of a game.
It's a great game.
I mean, Duke's got a chance to run the table in the ACC. That might be the one game that could trip them up. You and I were there when that Clemson team beat Kentucky, and that Little John can get rocking now.
Tough shot. Boy, they continue to make shots. That one right over the outstretched arms of Robinson. It's David Barnes who knocked it down. Where are they going to get their points from against this defense? Williams appears to be healthy as he drives all the way to the basket.
Well, they just play with a wide floor coming out of the timeout and let Williams operate one-on-one up top. He's a 7-foot point guard. Not on the finalist for the Cousy Award, by the way.
Yeah, Dia was open underneath. He could be, and they make another one. It's Morrell. They have scored on 75% of their possessions, and that's how you get to 38 with about 7 minutes to go in the first half. Jackson Robinson on the other end.
Ravi, you have to burn that pressure off in some form or fashion. And Robinson's being overplayed a little bit. Just back cut that thing and soften that Ole Miss defense if you can.
As good as Ole Miss's defense has been, Kentucky's has been the opposite so far with the shot making and the layups. Dia left open. That one is way off to the left.
We got a mismatch, Williams does right now.
That ball was deflected out of his hands by the tenacious defense again of Ole Miss. Morrell, Dia. He will shoot 2.
Well, guys, Rebels coach Chris Beard was really inspirational in that Ole Miss timeout. He told his team in this game, aggressive wins. Stay aggressive and believe that you are good enough. And he wants them to continue their defensive intensity, saying the only way that they're going to score is in transition. So get back on defense, continue to chip away at their confidence. Guys.
So the biggest question mark about Kentucky is their defense. It was that way last year, obviously, under John Calipari. They could score. They couldn't defend nearly as well as they wanted to. And that's the same story this year.
It is. Well, you can't overemphasize the loss of Butler for Kentucky right now, because the defense is set by your on-ball defender on that point guard. They just don't have it.
And he's great.
He's tremendous. He's one of the best in the country at that point guard defensive spot right there with the sweats on. So as a result, Jackson Robinson is forced to play the point on offense, but it really shows up defensively. And Kentucky gets out of position, just matched defensively 1 through 4 for sure, without this kid on the floor. And that's why Ole Miss is continuing with this full court pressure.
Dia goes to the bench, so the big guy is out. He leaves with 6 points. Brakefield leads the way with 10. And here's Carr in that height advantage. Nice pass. Garrison can't get it to go in the paint. Davis trying to take Carr, and he got stuck. Padula. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Klafke, ball fake, and it's ripped out of his hands, out of bounds off Kentucky. Boy, how about a ball fake inside the paint?
They're as good as they are in college basketball, Ole Miss. And Chris Beard has a lot of things about how he coaches the game coming through the eyes of Bob Knight. That motion offense at times, hard screening, but certainly the shot fake and the use of it, and it's all 5 guys that he puts on the floor.
Padula has to fire with 5 seconds on the shot clock. It's no good. Chance to cut into this 14-point lead. Garrison goes to the left and no good, but he deflects it back out, stays alive for Brea. Looked good, and it was good.
That was reload threes for Kentucky, and that is oxygen to their offense. And Ole Miss has been out-rebounded by 8 a game in SEC play. That's one area Kentucky can crawl back in this game.
Yeah, right now it's 13-13 as far as rebounds go. Brakefield steps into one. That's no good. Couple of empty trips for Ole Miss.
If you're Kentucky, you're thinking Ole Miss is not going to continue to shoot the ball at this high clip. Hang in this game in the first half.
Away. Boy, look at Padula come over. Away. No, they've missed a couple right at the rim. Ortega Owe, whose brother Rafi plays linebacker for the Ravens. There's another older brother. He grew up on the streets playing. They played some baseball. They played football. They played all sorts of basketball. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. A little undersized, wasn't necessarily recognized or appreciated the way he probably should have been, given how good he is and what he's doing at this level.
Well, right now he's currently one of 13 guys in Division I basketball that's hit double figures every game. That's how consistent Owe has been.
Dia back into the game, and he will launch from the free throw line.
Rev, you got to know Dia can make that shot. You cannot short close out on a, regardless of his size and position. He can legitimately knock down that 15-footer.
He averages 13. He's got 8. Brea, a lot of dribbling, and he finally gets it down to Garrison down low. He'll back in, and that one comes up short. Carr had it. They're going to get a foul underneath on Klafke. Boy, they're missing a bunch of shots at the rim so far.
A lot of things I love about Malik Dia. He's got a great feel for the game. And on his birthday today, I asked him, what do you want for your birthday? He said, I want a pair of Travis Scott shoes and wisdom. How many guys? Now, Seth, you're right. It's awfully loud in here, but you're talking about the loss of Lamont Butler and what that means on both ends of the floor. And that's your quarterback, and you move a wide receiver to the quarterback spot, and everything looks differently. Chris Beard continues to put that sign up in every timeout, emphasizing what we have to do in this game. And now that's the 7th miss by Kentucky, Ravi, at the rim.
Yeah, that's 14 points, and they trail by 13 points. Mark Pope has tried a whole bunch of different formulas and players to try to find the right combination. Has not been able to do it with Williams once again, a big guy playing the role of point guard. They've been physical with Williams. Robinson picks it up and sends one across court. He got lucky to get that through to Brea, who will launch way off to the right. Step in, Morrell knocks another one down, and Morrell now up to 11 points, and he's been terrific in spite of the pain he's in.
Ravi, you cannot rush the ball up the floor any faster or more efficient than what Ole Miss just did. That was spectacular.
Largest deficit of the year, 16 points. Another weak pass, and watch out. Dia lays it up and in.
That is one big dude, man, to rip that ball and take it about 70 feet. And the pavilion is starting to rock. They got Kentucky more than on their heels.
This is a huge last 2.5 minutes for Kentucky. Robinson, difficult pass, another turnover. And the layup was missed. Turnovers in this game. Kentucky 6, Ole Miss none. Robinson quiet. I cried a little bit. They do that with threes.
I've described him as a no mistake guy. There's kind of a look of after making a three, a frustration look. But you make a mistake on him and can't find him quickly, he will make you pay.
Jalen Murray can handle, man. 5'11", gets low to the ground, takes it down deep into the paint. Now looks for an outlet. He's left wide open. That killed him.
That's just a lack of toughness by Kentucky, I'm telling you. That's just not competing, not talking, not understanding. You don't leave the basketball. Too many breakdowns, and Kentucky's going to give up over 50 in the first half.
Brea. No good, and a 50-50 ball won by the team in red.
Well, the hand speed, Ole Miss defensively is so good. Brea with the miss, and they're just off and running. 1001, 1002, 1003. They know exactly where they're running to. That slot 45. And again, that's just a lazy, careless, and just not a tough own-your-spot pass by Jackson Robinson. I know he's playing out of position. It's not just Robinson. Against a team like Ole Miss, you've got to be strong with that basketball, man. Demand that you own your spot. And it has not happened for the visitors so far in this game.
Morrell, another ball fake, another three, and another basket. They are doing whatever they want.
They are shot fake stars at Ole Miss.
9 3-point field goals in the first half. Every pass difficult and contested.
They're not running offense. They're running for their life right now, Kentucky is. There's a big, big difference.
Perry, air ball, out of bounds.
Rabbi, it's hard to figure how much that Kentucky loss to Arkansas has maybe carried over and affected Kentucky to start this game.
The last two halves, as you mentioned, the Arkansas game, they've been outscored by 30. They haven't, Kentucky, led a game since the late part of the first half against Arkansas.
But that's the trick in this league this year. You get done with that game, you better turn the page and get all eyes going forward. It's nonstop coming at you.
You try to pitch a perfect game in this first half with turnovers where they have none. Now about 7 on the clock. Now 4. Murray. Whoop, all the way and up and in, and a fitting chance to end this half with a 3-point play. Whoop, but they feel good about themselves right now. One team is having a lot of fun, Jimmy. The other team is miserable.
Ravi, when you can't guard the ball or don't guard the ball, it is a miserable feeling as a coach. I looked up at Mark Pope after that one. He just stood there in almost disbelief in terms of their inability to stay in front of people. Now, this kid took St. Peter's all the way to the Elite Eight. And he's a tough customer. What a half by the Rebels.
And Garrison was unaware of how much.
Pope incredibly disheartened. The energy was low for Kentucky, for all of them coming out of the locker room.
It was, Molly. Thank you very much. Ole Miss makes 8 threes a game this season. They had 9 in the first half. Just for some context on how dominant they were, and they had so many shots in the paint and at the rim. Easy. Dia, 3. Uh-oh, it's starting again as he knocks down another.
So out of the halftime timeout, Ole Miss's first possession, Kentucky allows a standstill catch and stick 3.
Diaz got 13. They went to double Williams, and he found Owe on the baseline for a dunk.
There's not a better passing big in college ball than Williams.
The season, Malik Diaz had made 7 threes, I should say, in conference. He's got 2 more tonight, and Morrell also finds nothing but the nylon. The shooting in the first half was very, very impressive. And they're 11 of 19 from three-point land. It's another dunk for Kentucky.
You've got to make that Ole Miss defensive pressure, Ravi, work against them at times. How do you do it? 2-man game, come together quickly and sprint out of it. Really well done by Williams.
Morrell, 17. Season high for threes in a game is 15. That was against Purdue. They got 11 right now. Dia, he got it. Wow. What a show Malik Dia is putting on tonight.
That one-on-one defense by Kentucky continues to just haunt them. And Williams is one of their, if not their best inside defensive guy. And Dia just puts him in the spin cycle, gets him up off balance, and gets him to leave his feet first. Shot fake again, man. I'm telling you, Ole Miss, they are stars at the shot fake from all 5 positions.
You mentioned Bobby Knight a few times. It was interesting that Beard brought that up with the interview with Molly. And how significant an impact Knight had on Beard and his coaching style. Brea decides to take it by himself, and he gets that nice roll with a soft touch.
Good job by Brea to do something off the bounce. Ole Miss was just continuing to drop that big that came over to cover up the ball, and Brea just continued to take it right at him.
Ole Miss 3 for 3 so far this half. Murray, backdoor cut and a dunk. Morrell flushed it in. Matthew Morrell's now got 19. A lot of questions are going to be asked about Kentucky's defense, with or without Lamont Butler. Almanor doesn't have a point. He hasn't taken a shot on another layup for Kentucky. See if they switch their defense, having given up 4 shots and all of them made to start the second half.
Yeah, they go to that. Now this is a 2-3 zone or a 1-2-2, however you want to look at it. It's a matchup zone. But you've got to talk, and man, that's too easy. I know he missed it, but a flash to the elbow after 1 or 2 passes.
Good pass, and Brea, another big dunk, and he saves himself by hanging out of that rim.
Man, that's the Kentucky zoom action by Williams up top, dribbling at that wing, and a defensive mistake is made and back cut it, and Williams just throws a strike to a cutter.
Well, for a team that shoots a lot of threes, they've identified the ability to get in the paint. A handful of dunks to start the half, but they've got to figure out a way to stop Ole Miss offensively. Off the window it goes for Davis. Another, Jimmy, easy bucket for Kentucky.
So that tells me that Mark Pope at halftime got on that whiteboard and said, we've got to start getting some overplay back cuts and make that overplay work against Ole Miss. They've already gotten it 3 times in this second half.
Davis pulls up again, knocks that down. A lot of head shaking on the Kentucky sideline at how hot they've been. They've taken 7 shots. They've made 6 in the second half. Goes behind his back, finds Dia, who replaced him at the top. Spin move, fade away. And you certainly half expected that to go in, as difficult a shot as it was.
Yeah, Ole Miss didn't run any offense on that possession. They pound that ball up top without a purpose.
Owe. He will go to the free throw line and got hit in the midsection. We'll take a timeout. Ole Miss on fire again in the second half as you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Blake Diaz from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and he stayed home and played at Vanderbilt. This was some highlights from January of 23 when as a freshman he went for 14 against Kentucky. He was outstanding. 4 of 5 from 3. He only played 4 more.
Their confidence is building. It is up to you to stop it. He wants to take back control of this game by leaning on their strengths, their defensive pressure, and their intensity, guys.
And now he's got to deal with Kentucky's full court press for the first time. Mark Pope getting as aggressive as he can, trying to change the game.
Yeah, Padula lost that ball to Robinson.
First turnover of the game for Ole Miss, though. That's remarkable.
Incredible.
To get this deep. Kentucky doesn't turn you over.
Garrison and Carr back in the game, and Robinson, ball fake, 3 on the way. In and out. Thursday primetime women's basketball doubleheader. It's a good one. Paige Becker's number 5 UConn. They restoked the flames of that rivalry with number 19 Tennessee in our first game at 6:30 Eastern. And then Hannah Hidalgo and Notre Dame, their number 3, hosting Stanford. Becker selected as a top 10 candidate for the Nancy Lieberman Award. And Hidalgo has been crazy good all year, averaging 26 a game.
Yeah, that Tennessee team has been so close this year to a couple of top 10 wins. I was there last week when they took on South Carolina. Got it down to a 1-possession game late in the game. This does not look like it's shaping up to be a last possession game. Matthew Morrell, for a guy that doesn't practice, it's hard to put into words how difficult it is to not have any game rhythm practice and to come out and produce like he has.
Well, he's in the middle of a tremendous 3-point shooting night in which he is 6 of 7 as Owe matches it with a 3 of his own. But Morrell isn't playing, and he has knocked down 6 of 7 threes. He's not practicing, I should say. Watch out. All the way, and a dunk that goes off the back iron from Davis. And that was a wide open lane. Brea can't get it to crawl over the front iron. Gonna get a foul down low on a grab underneath, and Owe is telling Doug Schaus, he grabbed my elbow. Dia is right back in. They take Davis, who tried that dunk. That was denied by the rim out.
Well, Ole Miss put so much rim pressure on you. Converting from defense to offense, there's that foul. You get mismatched a little bit. No way got a little too physical with the grab.
Right out of the inbounds, that shot is missed, and they have numbers. Breakfield's behind the defense. Garrison is going to end up going to the line, shooting 2. 70% because so many of those shots, I think 6 of 7, Jimmy, have been literally dunks or at the rim.
Well, for a team that came in, Kentucky making 11 threes at 41%, Mark Pope to start this half says we got to do something different. This jump shot finesse stuff is not going to work on the road. So he has spread the floor. He's got some hard back cuts. He's gotten stuff done at the rim where they did not get it done in the first half. Man, what a hole Kentucky has dug for themselves with 13:06 to go on the road.
Harrison's a 44% free throw shooter. He missed that. Take a look at some of the guys that have given them points this season. Carr has 4. Garrison has 2. And the big one is actually Almanor, who's been really, really steady. Hasn't taken a shot. One of the glaring differences, too, in this game, both Murray and Padula can handle the ball with the best of them, which has led to the fewest turnovers we've seen in a game. And Dia throws it up with the left after getting fouled. They call that on Carr.
Yeah, they're actually playing Ole Miss is a lot of times with 2-point guards, combo guards. That's why you see that low turnover ratio on the year for Ole Miss, 4th in the country, taking care of that basketball.
NBA is still buzzing about the Luka deal with Anthony Davis. Speaking of Kentucky, our ESPN NBA Wednesday doubleheader. Wembanyama and the Spurs play the second game of their 6-game road trip against Young and the Hawks at 7 Eastern. And then the Western Conference leading Thunder get the Suns NBA countdown. We'll have much more on that deal because it's a real hard one to get your head around. It tips off our coverage at 6:30 Eastern time, our Wednesday NBA doubleheader. When you heard about that deal, what was your quick reaction to it?
That trading Luka Doncic, right?
Yeah.
Says that there's a big emphasis on defense to win championships, and how much that impacts how you look at your roster and how you're building that thing. But it was shocking. As shocking of a trade as you'll probably see in the NBA for years to come.
Anthony Davis can play defense. That we know.
Yep.
And Kentucky fans know it as well as anybody.
Yeah, they could use Anthony Davis in Oxford right now, right?
There's about 5 of them.
One of 3 freshmen to win National Player of the Year.
Carr finds Robinson. That's the guy you want to take that shot. He knocks down a 3. So they've got it down to 20.
When Kentucky can find those backside spotted up shooters, boy, they are money. They get that defense in rotation and get cleared out guys for Robinson and Brea to shoot. They're at their best.
Padula sees a lane, and then he dumps it off, and a rebound is to Kentucky. He missed an easy one. Great pass. Carr finds Garrison for the flush.
A really good job by Garrison to run right down the middle of the floor, rim to rim. And that Carr was the play initiator with Perry. But it's all about Garrison's discipline to run right down the middle of the floor.
Yeah, last 2 trips down, Carr with assists. They're chipping away, and Garrison's going to get called.
Yeah, so for Kentucky, Ravi, even if you can't come back and win the game, man, get yourself back on the right rails and get that train going again like you've been for the most part. They got time left to do it. The ball movement by Perry. One pass, boom, find your cutter, your rim runner. Really well done by Kentucky. A good start in the second half. Ravi, a couple of weeks ago when Chris Beard went to Ole Miss and won. Went to Alabama and won.
January 14th.
Yep. I had a corn dog. Went right to the hot dogs. Walked away with 2 of those bad boys. But this is a guy that grew up on the JUCO circuit. Didn't have a big budget, and he can tell you every great spot from Texas to the East Coast where the best corn dogs, hot dogs, chili dogs are.
Generally excited about bus travel. Like he was like the idea.
Yes, yes. Now that's how you celebrate when you go to Alabama and win. And one of the best wins in college basketball this year, by the way.
So they beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and then they had an overtime to Mississippi State. By 3 they lose. To A&M by 1. And at Missouri by 8. They beat Texas by 3, and of course a 10-point loss to Auburn. That's where they've been. And all of a sudden the 18-point lead had a chance to get to 16, but it's to no avail. They try to get it to Dia down low. He works on Carr, and he went underhand, and that didn't work. Couple of empty trips. Robinson will step into it and drain it.
Absolutely. A breakdown by Ole Miss defensively. Molly talked about it. Chris Beard was on top of it at the last time out. Challenges his squad that this game's not over. Kentucky now goes that big zone.
15-point lead. Garrison did a good job of cutting off a backdoor pass. Padula by Perry. And he gets it to go. Travis Perry had him go right by him.
Yeah, Ravi, even in that zone, man, you got to stay in front of that ball.
Not a good foul. They get the 3-point shot foul on Padula.
Kentucky's defense was pretty good in that zone for the first half of the possession. But, man, you've got to understand the importance of not opening up your hips, taking a bad angle. Look at that angle by Travis Perry. Doesn't square up the basketball. And Padula with an easy read and an easy floater. You mentioned Travis Perry. He grew up when his family built a new home in Eddyville, Kentucky. They actually built a barn first and put a basketball court in it. Then they built the house. That's how important shooting the basketball was to Travis Perry and his family. There it is. That's the home barn advantage. That's the barn that his father built and put that floor down. And Travis Perry.
They're not chalking Kentucky blue on the floor as well.
Not at all. That's the story of a Kentucky kid growing up to be a Kentucky Wildcat, having that vision in that barn all by himself late at night. I love that. You build a barn and put a hoop in before you actually build a house and worry about where the kitchen and the bedrooms go, right?
Yeah. His dad, Ryan, was the man. He's the head coach at Lyon County High School where he won the state championship.
Yeah.
All those hours paid off. For the freshman out of Eddyville, they go full court press.
There's plenty of time, but Kentucky, again, they don't turn you over. So when they get from behind, it's tough on them.
Boy, Padula just used that muscle of his to get Robinson out of the way. They've taken advantage of Perry and Robinson on the defensive end. Jackson fires. That's short. And a run out for Padula. Crosses over Robinson, then pulls it back out. Right up, and that's a tough one over the outstretched arm of Kerr.
Boy, he is a tough little customer, Murray. Bronx, New York, Putnam Science Academy.
That's a weak pass again, nearly picked off. Perry out of bounds off him.
Now that Ole Miss pressure is starting to have an effect again. It's just an accumulation of climbing up into your jersey. It takes a toll on you. And the pavilion appreciates the fight and the effort on that end of the floor.
7 turnovers in the game for Kentucky, which seems low.
It does. You would think like twice as many.
Only 1 in the game for Ole Miss. Mark Pope literally right in front of us, encouraging his D.
He's so right in front of us. I've looked at the monitor 80% of this game.
Here, spray up, but there's going to be a foul.
Right?
Yeah, you can't see by. That's a big body. There he is.
There we are. Yeah, and that line right there, looking at that goal, forget it. Just,
is there a basket over there?
Yeah, trust this monitor and hope they have the right game in it. Mark Pope has a knack, doesn't he, to ask his guys questions. Don't you like that about his shoot around?
Yeah.
He'll stop and ask. And
yeah, a guy you're going to guard and give me 3 words to describe him. And can't be one of them. Good effort that time on the offensive glass, but it's picked off by Carr. Williams, big height advantage, buries himself in the paint, and he picks up the call. We'll get the foul on 1 in red, and that's Mikael Brown-James.
You know, we saw Williams against Arkansas on Saturday. That's one area they had the advantage. That isolation basketball with Williams being guarded by Big Z, and Kentucky kind of got away from it, I thought, that last 8 or 9 minutes of the game. He is such a tough cover. He can back you down, he can score off the back down and pass and pick you apart off that back down as well.
Here's Robinson. He got a chance for a 4-point play. Foul on Murray.
Man, that is a big, big shot to give Kentucky hope in this basketball game. And Jackson Robinson get that thing off about as quick as the Lanier kid at Tennessee. He doesn't need a lot of time. A big scoring guard that's been forced to play the point position, and Murray is an undersized guy. I like his effort to challenge his shot, but man, you've got to go in front of that shooter and avoid that contact.
He is a 3-point shooting specialist, and he now has gone 7 straight games with at least 3 3-point field goals. Tonight, he's got 5 of them, and he leads the way with 18 points.
Kentucky has outplayed Ole Miss in this second half. It meant a major hole they dug in that first half. Plenty of time left, but again, defensively, they don't force turnovers. It makes it tough, man, trying to come back.
Murray guarded by Owe. Padula, that's off to the right, and Williams with a big rip. And when he rips it, he likes to dribble that ball up the court. 15-point advantage for Ole Miss. This is a big trip. Williams deep in the paint, throws it up and in.
That's what I'm talking about, that isolation with Williams. He's going to have the advantage on most teams in this league, and Mark Pope now going to it, and it's a 13-point game.
6-0 run, last 41 seconds. Kentucky scored a field goal on 5 of their last 7 trips. Brown-Jones will launch a 3. That's too strong, and Owe is going to get fouled. Jimmy, things are changing here in the second half, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt. Kentucky has found their groove back. It's not the three-point shot as much as it is what they're doing in the paint against Ole Miss. Amari Williams just knocks the pressure off, goes right through the chin of Brakefield, and the Big Blue Nation's not done yet.
Here, you got drives there. You got shots that are attempted to be made. Goal is the same, Jimmy. Basketball and golf. Put the ball in the hole.
Well, guys, you could feel the first trace of panic in Ole Miss's last timeout. Head coach Chris Beard reminded his team, you need to believe that you can win this game. He told them to use their frustration and emotion and translate that to aggression. So Beard trying to get his team into the right headspace to finish out this game. They needed a little help there in that timeout.
Yeah, that's interesting, is it not?
It sure is. Yeah, you got to believe on the other side, Kentucky's for the first time tonight feels like after trailing by 27 at one point in this game, to be this close is their first breath of fresh air, if you will.
Well, Mark Pope's play calls to start the second half are right on point, and that's what got their energy and their confidence back in this second half.
Padula's on the ground as they go to 10 on the shot clock. Stagnant offense this time from Ole Miss. 4 on the shot clock. Murray fires over Brea. Oh, that's a huge three-point shot.
What a gut punch to Kentucky, because they played good defense. Ole Miss really didn't run offense. They just jumped up and made a shot.
Murray joins the double-digit scoring crew. He's got 10. Yeah, we'll see. You can circle that one. That's a huge shot at the end of the shot clock. And Robinson forced one up, and they're denied. Five different Rebels are in double figures tonight. Murray deep, and he's gonna pick up the foul on Jackson Robinson. This is a gut punch, dagger type shot.
Yeah, because Ole Miss really, they didn't run offense. They pound that ball up top, and then with the shot clock going down, I talk about the toughness of this kid. Bam, right in the face, right in the grill of Kobe Brea, who has a size advantage, but Murray with a lot of lift, a lot of pop for a kid 5'10" to get that shot off.
Yeah, a lot of toughness. Kid out of Bronx, New York. You mentioned St. Peter's. He takes them deep into the NCAA tournament. Men's college basketball doubleheader tomorrow night, Jimmy. Jimmy, listen up on the SEC Network. Mark Mitchell and Missouri are in Knoxville to take on Lanier and Tennessee.
And I will be there,
yes,
and that will be a hard-fought game, man. Missouri, I'm very impressed with Coach Gates' guys going 0-4 last year in SEC play. Look up their 15th team in the country. They pressure you. They play hard. They play with a chip on their shoulder. Tennessee expected to have Milicic back. Probably Zakai Ziegler, and Thompson Bowling Arena will be hot tomorrow night, just like this building is.
Williams backing Morrell down. He reached in, and that is not going to sit well with Hottie Toddy here tonight.
No, but I like Mark Pope again going to Williams. And why I say that, because you've got Ole Miss now in foul trouble, and you're trying to score, Ravi, as much as you can with that clock stopped. And Williams is a guy that can get himself there.
Amari Williams sits on 10 points. He's got 7 rebounds and 8 assists. Stuffing the stat sheet. Morrell stepped in, and Williams makes it anyway. For a unique free throw style, Jimmy, he makes a bunch of them.
Yeah, he does. I'm pretty sure, Ravi, in 6 of the last 8 games, he's had 3 or more assists.
Yeah.
That's how good of a passer and a ball mover he is. He's got 8 tonight.
Lake D had a massive first half. A little quiet here in the second half. 0 in red down on the lower part of your screen on the right. Who has it now? He started the game off by hitting some threes. Now he penetrates against Williams, throws it up, and he's denied. Williams, Carr.
And those two are really good together in transition. Finding each other, looking for each other.
Andrew Carr's got a half dozen. And Robinson, good job to stay on the floor against Murray. And he does it again. Davis, difficult shot, and it goes.
I mean, that was a pretty good defense by Kentucky. Robinson got back in front of the ball and forced it out. Ole Miss has made some tough shots to hold this comeback at bay.
They're shooting 52% this half, 57% for the game.
And Kentucky, not bad defense. Robinson does a good job of not fouling, choking off that dribble by Murray. And then this is a tough two, but Davis just to pivot away from the pressure. I mean, Robinson's all up in him. He closes that gap down, but Davis, and Chris Beard says this guy's an athlete. He just put it on display right there.
Now they know the magic number is usually 10 points, 4 minutes to go. They're down by 15 with 5. Can they get a couple of stops? Morrell, baseline kick, wide open, 3, Padula. Too strong, that's 1 stop. Brea will pull up. Hey!
Yes, sir.
A high arcing 3.
That was a big-time throw-ahead pass, though, by Kentucky to find Brea sprinting to that slot.
What a fight Kentucky has put up here in the second half.
No doubt.
12-point deficit, shooting 62%. Murray. Boy, he has come up huge here in the second half. Huge.
Boy, time and time again, Ole Miss has made a tough two when the game is getting closed down.
Look at Beard getting into his defensive team, too, on some of the issues they've had.
And watch Ole Miss. They've gone to a lot of one-on-one the last 3 or 4 minutes and trusting guys to jump up and make a shot, holding off that Kentucky comeback.
Tech. Of course, Chris Beard was once there, hosting Baylor on ESPN2. That game starts in about 12 minutes, and then back on ESPN, our West Coast primetime game follows TGL. That's Arizona, number 20, and BYU.
Ravi, think about this. Ole Miss tonight has 22 assists and 1 turnover. That's remarkable.
It's remarkable. 14 points. We're at the 4-minute mark. Kentucky complete this, what would be incredible comeback. Owe hard. And he shot it under the rim, but he got his own rebound and laid it up and in.
Just outworked Ole Miss that time. And a good job by Carr initially to seal his guy off and have a driving lane for Owe to get to the rim.
The 87 points that Ole Miss has, the most against a Kentucky team since 1990.
Well, that's a big zone Kentucky has on the floor right now. Big guards up top. And it gets late in the possession. Now they go man.
Yeah, Padula thinks he has a lane. Brea can't defend it. Good job by the veteran Padula, and that may be a factor tonight. The experience that Ole Miss has. Robinson, air ball, and the crowd will let him know it. Jimmy, what do you think a win over Kentucky would mean to this program?
Well, it gets Ole Miss going again. You know, they come in a top 25 team anyways, but, and Ravi, this year in this SEC, you can lose your confidence if you're not careful. And Kentucky looks like they are struggling with that area right now, especially in the first half. And
yeah, along those lines, Beard had a great line to us about, you know, one day you're the prince. The next day in this league, you're the frog.
yeah.
Or said another way, one day you're the peacock, and then the other day you're the feather duster.
He said, but no one understands that one anymore. We do.
We get feather dusters.
Yeah, and he understands the importance of that pull-up jump shot. Oh, Ole Miss, 24 assists and 1 turnover in the game.
Very balanced scoring all night from Ole Miss as they go over the 90-point mark against Kentucky for the first time since 1971. That's the last time they went over 90 against Kentucky, was 1971, when Feather Dusters were the rage.
This kid with the ball's got a double-double tonight. Murray, man, he's a tough kid.
Yeah, Brakefield, he turned right into Owe, and no, he will not move into 4th place on the all-time list. Owe will step into that 3. That's off. And the rebound, Ole Miss. Robinson picks up the foul.
Owe has a little hitch in his shot from that 3-point line, which causes him to be so inconsistent. That's why you rondo him. And boy, Chris Beard is a program builder. What he's done in this pavilion with the student section wrapping around the court. Yeah, he was about just 2 wins ago last year for making the NCAA tournament. That number right there is staggering. I've never seen a game with that kind of an assist and only 1 turnover. That tells you a lot about Ole Miss tonight offensively, and it tells you about Kentucky's lack of defense and not be able to force turnovers. It has been something that has stuck with Kentucky all year long.
They came in plus 6.5 turnovers per game over their opponent. The number's going to go up with a 24-to-1 ratio tonight. And again, the benefit of having 2 point guards against a team that doesn't have any. You know, and the word on Butler is, according to Mark Pope, we're going to get him back. They believe they're going to get him back. He was wearing a big brace on his left shoulder today.
Yep.
He was participating in shoot-around, albeit very gingerly and slowly. You know, sort of a part-time participant, not very active. But he was running up and down the court after, trying to just stay in shape.
Yeah, it just seems like the question of when he will come back. But I mean, you're down Butler and you're down Kerr Kriisa, and to me, Kriisa is also a big loss because he gave Kentucky a swagger, especially on the road. Man, he took no business from nobody, and he was a pretty trusted ball handler. Kriisa was. Lamont Butler, we've already said, one of the best defensive guards in the country. But this is an unforgiving league. No one cares what you have or what you don't have.
You know, a game like this, obviously coming off the Arkansas loss, just with regards to Kentucky, it's not like Ole Miss needs to go back to the drawing board, but what does Kentucky have to do in order to get ready for their upcoming games, all of which are, again, challenging?
Well, the challenge for Mark Pope right now is to get his guys confident again, because you can get shook right now in this league. You're on the verge of losing 4 out of your last 5.
Falling below 500 in conference, going 4-5 in conference.
And think about that, Ravi. They're the 14th team in the country and on the verge of falling below 500 in this league. And Mark will be the first to tell you we are searching as a staff daily to find defensive answers for this club.
Padula tried his darndest to stay in front of Owe, who had that shot go in, but I don't think he's going to give it to him. And take a look at the schedule coming up. South Carolina, and then it's Tennessee. In a lot of ways, Jimmy, you think about what Tennessee did in their win without Milicic and Ziegler, and they beat Florida by 20 after losing to them by 30. There have been some games that have been peculiar in the way that they played out, like you wouldn't anticipate it. That Tennessee win, Arkansas's win over Kentucky at Kentucky, there are some confounding games.
Yeah, there are, but it's all tied to their just lack of consistency right now. And Mark Pope, though, he understands the assignment, and he's not going to back away from it. You know why he was hired at Kentucky, to hang banners, and there's still a team offensively that's as good as we have in the country. Come in against the 3rd best offense efficiency that we have in college basketball, but you're going to make a deep run in March. What costs you in the regular season will eventually knock you out of that tournament. And their defense right now, Last week, I believe, is in the 70s. It's now climbed up to number 89, so it's going in the wrong direction for him.
Yep. They fouled Barnes, which is the guy that Ole Miss wouldn't object to. He's an 85% free throw shooter. He shoots one-on-one. It's a minute 20 to go in a 92-81 game. The largest lead was 27 points.
So here's what happens in the transfer portal these days. David Barnes, this kid at the free throw line last year, played for Sam Houston State. He had 22 against Ole Miss last year. Made an impression on, obviously, on the Ole Miss staff. He goes in the portal. Yes, sir. Come and join us. And well, that's how quickly you can.
If they beat you, let them join you.
That's it. So Amari Williams is 1 assist away from a double-double.
A triple-double.
A triple-double. Excuse me, yeah.
Morrell in traffic, and you can see the joy he takes in ripping that down and knowing that this game is, for all intents and purposes, an Ole Miss victory over Kentucky and the role he played in it. Now you take a look at the left-hand column next to the school's name. LSU unranked. South Carolina, they're on the road, but it's unranked. Vanderbilt, good team, currently unranked. And there's a huge showdown there at Auburn on the 26th as they try to return the favor. Remember, they lost by 10 this weekend to Bruce Pearl's Tigers.
Well, if you've watched SEC basketball all this year, you know it's a historical year for this conference. There is a legit chance they could put 13 teams in the NCAA tournament. 13. It will not be any fewer than 11. And there's multiple teams in this league that are legit Final Four contenders, if not national contenders.
Williams wanted to throw that thing down, and he did, and then he went down. The foul's going to be on Dre Davis. There was some significant determination in Amari Williams going to the basket.
And I want him to get 1 more assist so he can have a triple-double. Man, has this kid competed all year long for Kentucky. He logs a lot of minutes, stays out of foul trouble, puts fouls on the opponent, makes his free throws at a pretty good clip.
The last triple-double for Kentucky was Isaiah Briscoe. That was right here, Jimmy, at Ole Miss back in December of 2016. Briscoe went for 19, 10 rebounds, 11 assists.
Well, Kentucky's going to lose the game, but Ravi, I do think they have kind of recaptured who they are. A bad game, certainly a bad half against Arkansas, and a bad half to start this one. And then as a coach, you're just constantly fighting to correct your team and get them going, find positive out of something. And Jackson Robinson has been a lot on his plate. This guy is not a point guard, but he's been forced to play it on the offensive end and on the defensive end. And that's a lot of stress when you're shoved out of position to handle in a league like this.
It's an interesting point, Jimmy. They've given up, I think, 89 now, at least in 3 straight games. The idea, to your point, that they got a little bit of that back. You don't you think they need to win a game in order to get that back? You're making the point that they don't need to win. They needed to play well. I wonder, for a psyche of a kid at Kentucky, we got to win. We need a result with a W.
Is that an assist? Is that an assist by Williams?
I think it was a Williams assist, which would give him a triple-double. Let's take a look. And they're going to credit Williams for the good pass to Owe, and it was an assist.
I'm going to applaud.
Amari Williams.
Triple-double. You don't see that too often.
12 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists.
And I kind of said it jokingly that he wasn't on the Bob Cousy Award finalist list. You could make a case for him to be on there as much as he's the primary play starter for Kentucky.
Ole Miss has got 5 seconds, and they're 2 points away from 100, and they will not get it yet. That ball deflected off Williams. Got to think they're going to just ice this game out, but Morrell hustles down to the wire. And there it is, the most points that they have scored against Kentucky in their program's history.
Well, this game is all about Ole Miss, man. They punished Kentucky in that first half. I know Kentucky did a good job in the second half to fight back, but you can't dig a hole in this league that deep and expect to get out of it. And Ole Miss, ranked 25th in the country, they are a complete team. Our first time to see them in person all year. We know what they do defensively this year. They're one of the top 40 offenses. Multiple guys can stick shots.
It'll end at 98, and it'll end at 84. Total domination for Ole Miss. And that will do it for us here at a Super